So now, while I understand, I've said this before, while I understand why a lot of people voted for Trump, I hope a lot of you were holding your nose while you did it because you knew that, uh, you know, well, he's going to be doing stuff like this. So the EPA's new water rule will gut the Clean Water Act. Who needs clean water? So this is the kind of crap that right wingers do, and left wingers do also. Like when I say left winger, I mean like neoliberals. A new water rule will greatly reduce federal water protections, imperiling drinking water, endangered species, and ecosystems across the country. No, I just don't get what is conservative about this. This is right wing. This isn't conservative. Right? Teddy Roosevelt was a conservative. He didn't do this stuff. He didn't pollute our waters. You know who invented the EPA? Because rivers were catching on fire. That's what I love, that whole idea of that libertarian idea of, no, the business is self-regulating. It's just the way everything works. You don't need the government to. Do you know that the rivers were literally catching on fire in the United States on the regular? And it was because of a New York Times reporter happened to be driving through, I think it was Cuyahoga Falls, and saw the Cuyahoga River burning, which was a normal occurrence. And they wrote a story about it that brought attention to it. The river catching on fire. How do you put out a water fire? And so that led to a string of things that brought President Nixon to create the EPA. So there's nothing conservative about not protecting our environment or polluting our water. That's just right-wing bullshit, right? So being right-wing and being conservative are different. So according to the rule that the Environmental Protection Agency is expected to release next week, some details of which were leaked Thursday, streams that are dependent on rainfall and wetlands not physically connected to year-round waterways will no longer be covered by the Clean Water Act. As a result of the change, an estimated 60 to 90% of U.S. waterways could lose federal protections that currently shield them from pollution and development. That's according to Kyla Bennett, Director of Science Policy at Public Employees for Environmental Responsibility. Alaska and the arid West will be hit particularly hard by the new rule, which will be subject to a comment period before it is finalized. Environmentalists are bracing for what they predict will be disastrous consequences for our nation's waterways. So there you go. That's one consequence of voting for Donald Trump. That's one consequence. They do unbelievably and harmful environmental stuff like that. So again, while I understand, I hope you understand why I voted for Barack Obama twice. I understand why you voted for Trump once, but you also have to understand that this is what Trump is bringing. And he's bringing no relief to the middle class or poor people. And he's not giving you health care like he promised. Remember, he said everybody's going to be covered, the government's going to pay for it. So I knew Trump was a used car salesman. That's what he is. And does he stick his thumb in the eye of some of the establishment? Sometimes, but not for realsies. He still gave the corporate tax cut, the cat cut to millionaires and billionaires, while screwing everybody else, pretending that we can't afford stuff like educating people in college and health care for people, and ending poverty and homelessness. Pretending we can't do that. We can totally do all that stuff. Everybody can have a living wage. There's enough to go around. We just have a sick system, which is this unbridled free market neoliberalism capitalism, which is predatory. By the way, capitalism pretty much that's kind of a redundant. Capitalism is predatory. Which is why you need a strong left-wing government if you're going to have that kind of a economy to help lubricate or to cushion and shield the people, the masses, from the brutalities of the predatory capitalistic system. That's what social democracies do. So this is another part of it. This is the capture of the regulatory agencies by the industries that are supposed to be regulated by them. So it would be just like having somebody from a polluter who wants to pollute being in charge of the EPA. So that's what happens, and that's what is happening, and no one's stopping it.
You mean the Democrats aren't?
And
You mean the Democrats aren't going to help us with this environmental
they're
disaster?
They're gonna get to the bottom of this Stormy Daniels business first, and then they're gonna get into Trump's taxes after that. And then
well, she said that, didn't she? Say that was the first point of business in January.
Yes, taxes is definitely gonna be on the agenda. His taxes, not taxes. So, Trump is a disaster in a lot of ways. In some ways, I was holding out hope that he would pull us out of Afghanistan and he would get us out of these wars, and it doesn't seem like that's happening. So, he seems to be joined at the hip with Netanyahu. So, he'll invade Iran if that's the case. Anyway, this is just another disaster. It says it right there, disastrous. It's a disaster, as Trump would say. That's my horrible Trump impression, by the way. Our next live Jimmy Dore show is February 1st in Burbank, California. Go to jimmydorcomedy.com for a list of all our live shows, and please become a premium member if you can. Become a patron. It's the way we support this show because they're coming at us, and we give you bonus. We give you hours of bonus material every week. Check it out. Become a patron. And if you can, make sure you're still subscribed. They unsubscribe people every day. I know it sounds crazy. It only takes a second. Please make sure and click that bell when you subscribe so they'll send you a notice when we drop a video. Thanks for your support.